I'm at Todmorden Mills.
And this museum is about mills and brewery. If a kid wants to visit this museum, they can definitely visit the cottage up there because it's a very nice experience. You can see how people lived in the Victorian era. I'm Tara and I'm 10 years old. My parents are from Tibet, but I was born here in Canada. My favorite activities are gymnastics and dancing.
My name is Rudy. I am 14 years old and I am from Toronto, Canada. I enjoy sleeping because I am a teenager. I like to read and I enjoy boxing.
If you had visited the site 100 years ago, there would have been no highway. It hadn't been built yet. Pottery Road would have looked completely different. People lived down here in the valley.
Yeah, it's the Don River down the middle and then the valley, right? So like the animals that would have lived here or still live here, maybe not there anymore.
Sort of colonial expansion started out this way to build a mill that harnessed the power of water of the river. They moved the river, but that meant that they were changing the landscape.
They had to remove the rivers to build a highway. If you could go back in time, do you think it was right to do so, and would you have done the same thing?
At the moment, it would have been the right thing to do, but then if you go into the future and see that how much it affected everything, then you probably wouldn't have done that at the time. You'd definitely be more community involved.
I think climate change has had a big change because whether it's cold or it's hot. So, and like the islands that have people on it, it's all going to disappear because of climate change.
Paper mill building originally was built as a grist mill, sawmill. It expanded over the years to make paper. They built a brewery to make beer. It was a great business proposition, right?
The thing also to remember is that if you owned this mill, and it's the 1880s, if you needed workers to work at your mill, where are you going to get workers? You have to build them housing so that they live next to their job.
Do you know if renting was part of the pay?
Yes.
Okay.
So that's another interesting discussion where your landlord is your boss. Because again, in the Victorian era, there's no such thing as workers' rights. If you don't get paid, you don't get paid.
Like 20s, 30s, 40s, we're talking like the Great Depression, right? We had the cave-in shack dwellers.
Yes, that's what
Yeah. So the cave-in shack dwellers were basically men living in the woods here. They created a space for themselves to live in. This was not unusual at the time, particularly during the Depression.
So I don't see a whole lot of homeless, but when I do come into like a more busy area of the city, I do see quite a bit of homelessness, and I do realize that they are in need of help. I think it's just more like noticeable and more talked about than it was back then.
So just being positive and being compassionate.
Whenever you see someone homeless, you should always try to give them something.
This is the Bellamy family that we're looking at in the 1940s. This family moved in here in the 1920s. Mr. Bellamy worked for the brickworks. He was a cart driver. He delivered the bricks. The brickworks built huge parts of Toronto in the early 20th century. It was a pretty busy site.
I think this is a DVD or a record player, and what I like about it is that back in the olden days when there's no music, you could play songs and you have to just turn the thing and the record player will spin and then it'll start to play music.
Some quite interesting stuff in this box. It's like just great. A matchbox. We love to make small fires in our backyard, and we love to just like roast marshmallows on them.